Welcome to homework.
We're given a set of positive integers defined by a basis step and a recursive step, and we were asked to answer questions. So we're given that S is the set of positive integers such that 5 is an S, and if n is an S, then 3n is an S, and n squared is also an S. In part A, we're asked to show that if n is an S, then n is congruent to 5 mod 10. So first of all, consider the basis case. We have that 5 is clearly congruent to 5 mod 10. So the basis case is valid. Now let's consider the inductive step. So let n be an element of S, and suppose that n is congruent to 5 mod 10. Then by the recursion steps, we have that 3n is an element of S, and n squared is an element of S, and we have that 3n is congruent to 3 times 5, which is equal to 15, which is congruent to 5 mod 10, and n squared is going to be congruent to 5 squared, which is equal to 25, which is congruent to 5 mod 10. So we've shown that if n is an S, then the string of values obtained from n are also an S and are congruent to 5 mod 10. And so by the principle of structural induction, it follows that if n is an S, then n is congruent to 5 mod 10. In part B, we're asked to show that there exists an integer congruent to 5 mod 10 that is not in S. So first of all, let's consider some of these possible integers. We have integers congruent to 5 mod 10. We've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and so on. So first of all, we know that 5 is not an option. Because we're given that 5 is an S by the base step. Think about, say, the next option. So we have that 5 is an S, and so it follows that 3 times 5, 15 is an S, and we have that 5 squared, or 25, is an S. So both of those are not choices we can use. And so it follows that 15 times 3, which is 45, is an S, and 15 squared is an S. I'm not even going to compute that. And we have that 3 times 25, which is 75, is an S, and 25 squared is an S. And at this point, it's clear that there are a few different choices we can make here, but notice that 35 is congruent to 5 mod 10. We also have that 35 is going to be strictly less than 45, 15 squared, 75, and 25 squared. And since the numbers in S just keep getting bigger, it follows that 35 is not in S.